Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode number 112 for the week of whatever month it is, June 17th, 2013. I'm Ryan Higgins, who's here with me this week.
Brock Sager.
Omar.
Bryce.
And Charlie.
No, Toby. Damn you, Toby. I'm going to need one more on my side. Kind of on my side. Okay.
Who's going to be the neutral party?
We're just going to get into this.
He's always neutral.
Charlie's got to go like halfway through the podcast, so we're just going to start recording now so we can get this out of the way.
He's a great father and a good man.
Massive Man of Steel spoilers. Possible murder on this podcast, so if you're not a fan of murdering, you may want to not listen to this podcast. If you're not a fan of...
Jeez, that's just going to increase our ratings.
If you're not a fan of podcast members bludgeoning each other to death, you may not want to listen to this podcast. If you're not a fan of spoilers for Man of Steel, you may not want to listen to this podcast till you're done.
Or demon dick penetration.
Oh, there's that too. Always. So, Man of Steel came out this last week. We're going to talk about this for a while. We got some other stuff to talk about too, maybe. But, yeah, Man of Steel is going to be the big one. So, the big one.
Oh, yeah.
We should be talking about This Is the End.
Yeah,
I
That's
can't wait
a
to see
real
that.
big movie.
Yeah, how long are you planning on talking about this?
No. The big movie of the year is Pacific Rim, guys. Okay, so shut up. Pacific Rim.
No, Pacific Rim looks good. I'm looking forward to that.
It does look
Yeah.
good.
Stealth movie of the year, but Man of Steel. Okay.
Definitely not stealth.
Man of Steel opened up this past weekend. DC's big relaunch of, Warner Brothers' big relaunch of the Superman franchise.
Successful relaunch.
Very successful relaunch. Hopefully, the start of the Justice League cinematic universe, kind of like Marvel and their Avengers and all that dumb stuff that no one likes.
Don't want a DC movie universe?
You know, I don't want to be the fucking cheerleaders behind them doing it. I just want them to fucking take care of it and do it. And we don't need to start it with Man of Steel, because obviously Man of Steel is not going to deliver it. If they're waiting everything on Man of Steel, that's definitely not happening.
Oh,
because everyone I've talked to says it smells like shit.
that was a weak Iron Man 3
box
or Iron Man 1
office
equivalent.
It's going to happen. I mean...
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Okay, yes. Okay. I'm pausing.
All right, so I got Box Office Mojo, I got Cinema Score, and I got Rotten Tomatoes up here. Okay,
All right, let's hear all of your...
Because we got a few things to talk
factoids.
about here. Let's factoid this, right?
There
There's
you
a
go.
good way. Let's start it with this, okay? Man of Steel, in the first weekend from Thursday night through Sunday, domestic gross of $128 million.
And that's still an estimate. It keeps going up.
It usually takes a little while for that to kind of settle down for us to really know the exact amount. But rough, call it 125 million. It's at 128 right now on Box Office Mojo. 73 million foreign, and that is a number of places that still hasn't opened yet. So that's a pretty good number. I wanted this to do as good as say something like Iron Man 3, but Iron Man 3 really got some huge promotion overseas that Man of Steel didn't.
Okay.
Well, and
what did Iron Man 3 do?
130 million.
Opening weekend? It was something like that. Yeah, I don't know what the international opening weekend was, but I know it was...
It was
30
way
million.
more, by the way.
Yeah, it was...
International. Because of China.
Well, but
Not
a
joking.
lot of that had to also do with the fact that it already opened internationally before it...
Right.
started
Here it
domestic.
opened...
No, opening weekend I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is if
It
you
didn't open
look
here
at-
opening weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the opening weekend here.
Yeah, China did 100. I think it was 127 million total.
Dude, you're
is
doing
what I
fucking
heard.
awesome, dude.
Which is huge. I mean, Iron Man 3 did big numbers. I mean, Man of Steel is number 2 movie of the year, right behind Iron Man 3. So, and it'll probably be that way through most of the year. Yeah, but Iron Man 3 had Avengers and so much other total crazy stuff behind it. So,
are you going to lace this whole podcast with like caveats as to why it doesn't deserve?
No, Iron Man 3 was a financial
Let's
success.
talk about the factoids then. Continue the factoids,
Right,
and then we'll.
You're all about factoids. Stop lacing your Iron Man 3.
Opening weekend of Man of Steel, $201 million. And then that doesn't even include the $175 million that Warner Brothers was very happy to announce that it made before the movie even opened, with all their
Sears and 7-Eleven
right.
and Walmart. And
So we're looking at a film that's made close to $400 million on opening weekend. By opening weekend. To me, that is a clear success. We're already at numbers of approaching Superman Returns. This is what Warner Brothers wanted. It's probably more than they were expecting.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, it made a shitload of money. Iron Man 3, same thing. Yeah. Huge money. I'm not going to say it didn't, because it did. I mean, clearly. There are two other things, though, that I find really interesting in their differences. One, and I know a lot of people follow Rotten Tomatoes, which has Superman at a 56%, which, if you're familiar with Rotten Tomatoes, is definitely on the poor side of reviews. It's no Green Lantern, but it's no Avengers either.
What is Green Lantern trading?
Is that like 23% or something like that?
So DC has actually improved. It's
no Dark Knight, which was like 99% or something ridiculous. Yeah.
Dark
But
Knight was fucking amazing.
It was a really good movie.
Yeah, but we're talking about like money. We're talking about the masses. Then we should be talking about Rotten Tomatoes, and we should give them their due because they are really where it's at when it comes to what the mainstream people know.
56% is specific reviewers.
Right.
The actual audience reviewer is much higher than that.
Cinema Score, which is the big site that deals with polls moviegoers, which is often also talked about when talking about review scores and everything like that, has it as an A-. Which, looking at these reviews, clearly the civilian reviews versus the critical reviews don't exactly add up because, like, After Earth got a B despite getting like a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, right? I mean, Fast and Furious got an A, a straight A, right? Which is like, obviously people love these movies. So whether the reviewers liked it or not. I mean, Iron Man 3 also got an A. So there you go. But better reviewed than Man of Steel and made more money. So you win.
To me, that
win,
is a
Bryce.
useless factoid.
You win.
Oh,
well, no. This
never mind,
is
it's very important.
Do people actually like this movie?
We won.
Yeah.
Do people like this movie? I mean, the coming out of the theater, I looked on Fandango, which has people that after you see the movie they poll you, and it had like a 87% or something like that, which is like a B+. So that's
that
cool.
is a fucking innocuous statistic in my opinion, because you're gonna go see movies that you want to see, and you're gonna like it because you want to like it, whether or not.
Well, no, this is after you've seen the movie. They poll people on what they thought.
People like you are gonna see a not very good movie, and they're gonna be like, "Oh man, that was amazing." A+, A+ for Superman. I guess not as many people liked it as Iron Man 3, so I guess it averages to an A- or a B+ or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Making that kind of statement drives me fucking nuts because it's the same thing as saying, I didn't like Spider-Man 1 and I went and saw Spider-Man 2 and I didn't like it. Maybe it's just not the kind of movie for you. You're going to go see movies that intrigue you, that you want to see. Meaning, in general, if you went to go see the movie, you're more predisposed to liking it.
Yeah. Well, and
That's
also
exactly what I'm saying.
it's also how you're vested.
But that's what I'm saying is in terms of like these kind of numbers, it's more along the lines of if the movie really disappointed you, that's when these numbers hit really low numbers. What it's basically saying is more people were happy with the movie than disappointed with the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to look up Comic Book Resources, which I think had
I agree with that.
their review. They had a poll, this is actual comic book readers, and based on some of the problems with Man of Steel that people had, I was actually expecting comic book fans to, and in a lot of situations, hate it. And no, we're close. And for the most part, let me get my Man of Steel numbers here.
44% give it an A.
Yeah, come on, load guys. Between A and B, it's 71%, which to me is pretty amazing considering I really thought more comic book fans were going to really, really hate this movie, which they have. F is at 43%, D is at 6%, C is at 14%. And to me, I mean, the reason I'm sort of talking this way is because we have some people in this podcast that really didn't like this movie and really did not think it worked. And some of us did. So
Turn it down.
No, I'm saying. I think this movie was very successful. I think DC made a lot of money on it. Warner Brothers made a lot of money. We're going to get more. It's finally happened. Finally, it's happened.
Just like 7 years ago when they did Superman Returns, and Brandon, Ruth, and like all of us were all excited about it when it came out too. And my brother's like the biggest Superman fan, and he watched it and he's excited about the trailer. Everyone's like, "Yeah, cool, we're gonna get it. Superman's gonna be as big as Batman." Ooh.
When that movie came out, I liked it, and then when I kind of thought about it a little bit more and saw it a second time, and I heard some of the complaints people had with it, and I kind of went back and I saw it, and I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I was amazed at the spectacle of a modern Superman movie, and when actually watching it and kind of taking it for what it was, I started to see some of the flaws in it more. I mean, I didn't think it was an A coming out of the theater. I liked it.
That's big of you to change and adapt to what you hear, because we're all human, and that's what we do. We're organic. Yeah. And
Yet
for me, I was the same thing. I actually enjoyed Superman Returns because I love Creeper Superman. I love the idea if someone has fucking superpowers, I'm gonna fucking check that shit out. I'm not gonna be taking care of my son. I'm gonna be fucking looking through and just spying out, creeping out from space. Dude, that's some funny shit. And you know what? That sucks that it was not accepted that way.
But
it had a horrible rating on Rotten Tomatoes, like 76%, I think.
better than Man of Steel.
Oh, Man of Steel was worse?
Worse.
Whoa.
Worse
Come
reviews.
back. Come back. Just like that.
Superman Returns is a weird thing on Rotten Tomatoes because it's actually basically certified by Rotten Tomatoes as a good movie.
Well, what's funny about
Yet,
what's fun about Man of Steel?
That just means that they're a business too. Rotten Tomatoes is a business, and they probably have a sales department. And they probably call out and they say, "Do you want a certified cool?" Yeah,
No.
because I have friends that do that. They work for Yelp and they do the same thing for all
Yeah.
the businesses. And I'm sure you guys were contacted before on being pushed up the page.
What's funny about Man of Steel is it is a movie. I actually read some article about this over the weekend. It is a movie that is successful in every way possible, but the direction of it, they just decided we don't want this, and there was sort of like this reverse kind of backlash against it as it went out, where more people kind of were like, yeah, I also don't want... although the movie wasn't bad, they also didn't want to continue in this direction. So DC really had to use this as a starting point and basically restart their DC movie line. I mean, I have no idea what they're going to do with Green Lantern. They're still talking about a Green Lantern too. Like recently, they've talked about doing more of it, and I think they should. Not that I think the first one was a great success. Clearly, it wasn't. But I think they have the opportunity to make a very successful movie, especially if they tie it in with something like Man of Steel. So we've had a lot of kind of bullshitting around here. The movie was. I don't think anyone would argue successful from a point of view of financial and
It's too big
a lot
fail.
of crowd pleasing moments. But what about all of us here? So, what is today the day of fucking like 900 people coming to the store after we're closed? What's going on? And that crazy guy was homeless earlier. He was bugging us for money in front of the liquor store. So whatever, go away, guy. So I'll cut all this off in the podcast. So, Man of Steel. I talk about Man of Steel.
yeah.
I think we kind of did this with like Iron Man 3, maybe a few of the other movies. So let's kind of do a little once around the table. Everyone kind of give their overall. Let's give a score. Let's give a out of A, B, C, D, F, out of 4 stars, out of percentage of 100. Just quick. Brock, let's start with you. Just a couple minutes. No one. Just let people talk, do their thing. And then we'll get into
Well, you
it.
say a couple minutes. We each get a couple minutes?
Couple minutes. Just a couple things you like, couple things you didn't like, overall
That's
thoughts.
quite generous of you,
Give
my
it a-
friend.
Give it a score.
Wow, thanks, Higgins.
And then at the end, the rumble begins.
Are we doing
okay?
a
So is
score
there
or
an
a
interruption
grade?
moratorium?
Whatever you want.
You're a score or a grade?
Whatever you want. Whatever you feel.
So there is an interruption moratorium.
Yeah, just let people have theirs. Because we'll have plenty to say when it's all said and done. So. And if you would like to rate it against other comic book movies you've enjoyed of recent, or compare it against the other Superman movies, you can do that as well.
Ooh. I'd give it a C, D.
Okay.
I love the stuff with Krypton. I loved Zod. I thought that was great. Is the name Henry?
Henry Cavill?
Henry Cavill. I think he has the look, but I didn't believe him as. I didn't think he fell into a category of being Superman, of being Clark Kent, of being Kal-El. There was no full development for each character. The CG is beautiful in it, especially with the fight scenes. We actually get really good epic, battle sequences. But they're ruined when Superman screams like 3 times in 10 minutes, and all the broken glass gets a little annoying. So I don't know. Tone it down on the next one. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think they left out some things that some people might feel needed to be in the film or should have been in the film. They also kind of boxed themselves into a corner, in my opinion, not including Kryptonite, because they don't give Superman an out with Zod, except for killing him at the end. So if there's Kryptonite in this film, then there's an out. So I think that's why they didn't include Kryptonite. But if they include Kryptonite in the next few films, I think people are going to be a lot more, disappointed with the first one. For a retelling of an origin story, it didn't give enough of the origin. I think they decided to say, hey, you already know this story, so we're not going to show you, which is fine for certain things, but you need to give us enough that it's memorable. I think secondary characters in the film didn't get enough due credit, because Superman's not just about Superman and Clark Kent. It's about his biological parents, his adopted parents. It's about Lois. It's about Jimmy. It's about Perry. It's about Metropolis. Like, there's so much that goes into Superman than just Superman, and I think that when you lose out with those characters, you lose kind of the core essence of who Superman is. So,
where does this sit on your geek film hierarchy? What's it as good as? What's it better than? What's it worse than?
It's better than Green Lantern. I would actually have to put it just above Iron Man 3, because I walked out of the theater of Iron Man 3 completely indifferent. Like, that, I walked out of this one like almost the same.
So Iron Man 3 is a D and this is a C minus?
This is like Iron Man 3 is a straight D. This is like a D plus C minus for me. So, Omar, it's up to you now.
Omar, let's hit it.
Dude, that was actually pretty articulate. Where's my friend Brock at that I'm used to sitting next to?
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
I was like, it's like you just dropped the mic. I'm like, I have to follow that shit. I have to follow Eddie Murphy. Like, what the fuck?
This is a PS4.
Damn, son. No, that was impressive. I like it.
There you
When I think of Man of Steel, now that I've been able to, we watched it, 2 weeks ago or some shit?
Week and a
half ago?
Or 2 days ago if you're me, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I forgot. You went to go rewatch it. I don't know why.
He had to go actually contribute.
I had to go fact check.
He had to go actually contribute to the numbers to make it better for the weekend.
I see.
Oh, yeah.
We saw it on a free preview.
And I should say, we saw it on a free preview through Warner Brothers 2 weeks ago.
Thanks, Warner Brothers.
Thank you.
Thanks for the shitty movie. I thought it was really ambitious. Okay, so first of all, I'm not a Superman fan, for some of you listeners, you guys know, but I am a fan of film. I'm a fan of good stories. I'm a huge fan of Jeff Johns, who has really reconnected me with Superman. Also of James Robinson. I got to see a little bit of New Krypton kind of like on the big screen, so that was awesome. I'm sure James Robinson probably feels the same way when he saw some of that. Whether or not he doesn't get props, he never gets props for anything, so that's besides the point. Man of Steel should have been definitely a 3-part story rather than just a garbled 4-part story put into one. I agree with Slash Film and Collider that it was just too convoluted. They had too many different parts, and they're all moving in the same. They were not moving in the same direction. I think one of the things you said, Ryan, in the beginning of the podcast is that DC is banking so much on it can't fail. They failed. I mean, because the reason they failed is because they can't even put a fucking regular story together. A single story. They would have done it if they had a director, not just an art director, not just someone that throws out eye candy cinematography. I mean, I was excited when I saw 300 visually. I was excited when I saw, what is it? What's that fucking movie with all the chicks and the titty floss? Sucker Punch. Like, I was stoked about all that. But again, all of those they're horrible stories. They're not good film going. I recently watched Django again. And just watched This Is the End today. I was so fucking... That's like entertainment. You know, I go to the screen, and people... I mean, today we pay like, $20, $25 to watch a film, be it in whatever medium, 3D, digital, or IMAX. And you should get what you pay for. We didn't get that. I was really disappointed. Thankfully, we had Maximus in the film, because fucking Jor-El killed it. Every time Jor-El was on the screen, I fucking loved it. Because, like, he... was the high point for me, like him and his little trusty robot. Fucking the whole world of Krypton was incredible for me. Though some of my friends say it's shitty. Fuck you, Daniel. I think that they just were banking too much, and they just like shot themselves in the foot when they fucking decided to support a friend. One of the executive producers decided, oh no, we're not going to give this film to fucking Aronofsky like it should have in the original. If it was originally an Aronofsky film, I think I would have loved it, because this film was a sci-fi film. It was not a superhero film, and if they had it in a way it's told and the way it was like had connections, it would have been like a Black Swan of superheroes of superhero movies, and I would have loved it. I think the direction sucked, and because of that, it's shitty. I feel bad for Christopher Nolan because he had to connect himself to this movie. I feel bad for fucking... no, I don't feel bad for Goyer, because Goyer just puts his name on anything these days. So, yeah, I think that it's definitely not as good as Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3, I love that film. It was so fun. It's a film.
Give it a score. Give it a. What do you compare it to?
What I compare it to? I compare it to
Like what's it just better than or just worse than?
It's probably almost as good as The Fountain, which is an Aronofsky film that was better than
Superhero film. Come on.
It's a comic book film.
Barely. Yeah, barely.
Right?
Barely.
Huh?
Barely.
On this shit. Superhero film.
Give it a score. Give it a percent. Give us something we can.
Yeah, a D.
D.
A D.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bryce.
How could I possibly as eloquently follow up such succinct reporting by my podcast colleagues?
Try, man. You can try.
I actually think that they did a great job of sort of summing up most of what I was going to say from two different capacities. So I took my wife to go see it with the crew, and so I didn't like it for two reasons. From the comic book loving side of things, and also from the I'm married to a comic book guy, and so I am peripherally engaged with the universe, the comic book universe, but don't really know much else. I did not enjoy it. I'm not going to say that it was a bad film. I guess vehemence towards it was not as palpable as Omar's. But I did not think that it was a good movie. Does it, deserve such derision? Maybe not, in my opinion. But it was not a good movie by any means. I totally agree that it was more of a sci-fi movie than a superhero movie. I totally agree with Brock that they skipped over a lot of the parts that sort of make Superman, like the actual raising of him. He lands in the farm field in a rocket. Development with Ma and Pa Kent was non-existent. There's no kryptonite, and a lot of these things. Ryan's whole argument, by the way, we'll get to with this, is that it's everything.
Hey, don't just your own opinion.
This is my opinion.
Okay,
I need to use yours to counter mine.
Oh, okay.
Ryan's whole thing is that it's everything that Superman Returns wasn't, which is in and of itself to me not a very compelling case for the movie, but. He thinks because there was no kryptonite in this one, it was good, and because there was no character development of Mom and Pa Kent, and he'll say all this in his turn, but that it's a good movie, which is sort of inane sounding as it'll come out in a couple minutes. Anyway, I think that there was a lot of facepalm moments in the movie, and there was a lot of, like Omar said, storylines that were just disjointed and like, what? And a lot of things that you could tell half the time they were trying to Christopher Nolanize the Superman, universe, and I think failed horribly. And other times that they were going to try to make big blockbuster stuff out of it, and to that end, I think they actually succeeded. Also, to Brock's point, is that the effects were amazing, and I do think that Henry Cavill did a fucking great job, and the suit looks legit, and he's a handsome gentleman. But other than the effects and the fight scenes being awesome, there's so many. I want to say plot holes, but I maybe that's not the best use or the best word for it. But there was just so much face palming that happened during the movie, and moments where I was like what? Like, you can't, Zack Snyder, this is fucking awful.
Well, let's get a score going here. What's your, give me a,
so
what's it better than, what's it worse than? Give me a percent, give me a letter grade.
So, and this is fully biased point of view or opinion, but I think that it was worse than every single Marvel Studios movie that's come out.
Nice.
And I think that actually you'll probably find a lot of people that agree with me on
It's like the cinematic universe stuff, not like Daredevil and Fantastic Four and stuff, right?
Marvel Studios, I said.
Right.
Yeah. We don't talk about
just confirming.
Fantastic Four and Daredevil. I think that it was slightly better than Green Lantern. Right. And look, I enjoy watching Green Lantern, like I was telling Ryan earlier. And if I saw this again, not that I would want to waste another 3 hours of my life, but I would probably enjoy it just as much as if I were to rewatch Green Lantern, which I haven't done yet. But that's because they're superhero movies, and we all love superhero movies. And I think that a lot of this is people predisposed to wanting to like this because it's a Superman movie, and you want to like it more, so you're willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. At the end of the day, I think that my expectations were just too high, and then I went and saw a subpar movie. I would probably have to give it like a C minus. It was better than Green Lantern, but worse than every Marvel movie, including Captain America.
What's wrong with Captain America?
Yeah. No, I think that all the Marvel Studios movies have been fucking amazing, and Captain America is the weakest one in my opinion.
No, that's about right.
You guys will see. Ryan thinks that this is the third best comic book movie ever. These arguments, it's ludicrous. Yeah, he'll tell you more.
Well, I'm gonna have Charlie.
It was kind of at the bottom of the barrel. Above it are every Marvel Studios movie, all 3 Batman movies, and I haven't seen all 5 Supermans in a long time from back in the day. But I dare say, having not seen Superman Returns in about 8 years or whatever we decided, it was probably better, if not long in the tooth and fucking boring as hell. It probably made a lot more sense. And by the way, I like character development with Ma and Pa Kent, and I like the rocket that lands him to Earth, and I like Kryptonite. Okay. And I like Lex Luthor. So I know that it didn't have those, and you like it because of that. But I miss those, and I think that they were trying to Christopher Nolan-ize it too much, and it fucking failed.
Okay. I'll have Charlie fluff me before we get to my
and he's
conversation.
Literally going to fluff him.
Okay.
Let's hear it, Charlie.
So I'm going to just start with my score.
Let's move this
to get that out of the way.
Let's move this train around.
So I give this movie an A minus. And
wow.
Oh my god.
While I agree that more stuff with Ma and Pa Kent would have been nice, I pretty much already know that. Like, they changed Krypton, so they showed me Krypton. There's certain things that you just kind of have an understanding of in terms of Superman's origin, so I kind of felt like they worried about treading that ground that they always, like when I went to go see Batman Begins, there were literally people really fucking complaining in the audience because it took him so long to get into the Batman suit. And you can't please everybody that way, but I understand the mentality of you have to get him to sort of that recognizable, iconic way as soon as possible to not lose people to a degree. In terms of a lot of the changes to mythology, I wanted to, when I walked out of the theater, I knew I really liked this movie, but when I started sort of thinking about all the mythology changes, just like I sat down with like Superman Returns and all that, where with Superman Returns, my mind started rebelling because of the mythology changes. Like, there were a lot of stuff in there that I couldn't like accept from the mythology changes. The mythology changes in this movie were a lot easier for my mind to kind of wrap around, see why they did it. And I think because of some of those mythology changes, they also strengthened characters, which is what I liked about these mythology changes. Because I to take this back to Jeff Johns, I always kind of feel like he sits down and he looks at the different characters in a comic he's going to write, and he kind of breaks it down to what do people like about these characters, what do people not like about these characters, and he figures out a way to, while still accepting what they don't like, figure out a way to turn those into a positive. I kind of feel like they did the same thing for certain characters in this movie and sort of changed things up just enough that they're still recognizable as who they are, but they dropped some of those negatives that always sort of brought them down a little bit. So for me, while it would have been nice to see more with Ma and Pa Kent, I can kind of fill in the blanks pretty easily there. I know he was raised by a loving family. I know they raised him well, instilled him with values. Like, that's the weirdest thing for me in some ways with that was when he said maybe he should have let the kids drown in the bus, because I understand where he was coming from, but that was a very non-Pa Kent thing to say. But in general, there's not like enough for the little bit of nitpick that I could go, I would have done that differently, to make me go, this was a bad movie, or this part ruined it for me, because there were enough positive in this movie that I never sat there going, oh my God, they've jumped the shark or anything like that. I think there's certain things that they could have improved about the movie, but I've seen it twice. I greatly enjoyed it. And I actually get somewhat annoyed at this point because a lot of this sort of predisposed reviews I've been reading from a lot of critics kind of all start out the same way about how they kind of bash Zack Snyder more than bashing the movie, to be perfectly honest, because a lot of this stuff would have to be a lot of the quote-unquote complaints about the way the story was told or how much was there comes from the script before the director really starts setting. Like, they can change around a little bit, but if the script isn't sort of solid in the way that it's there and what scenes need to be filmed, that impacts the movie as well. So I don't feel like you can just blame the director for stuff you don't like, especially when you start talking about story issues.
Okay, because you're kind of in a different area than these guys. So what are you comparing it to? Where does it land on your list?
I consider it better than Iron Man 3 because I liked Iron Man 3, but there were certain things in it that I kind of it was just better than Iron Man 3 to me. Like, it wasn't as good as Iron Man 1. I mean, Iron Man 1 was a fucking masterpiece in a lot of ways.
True that.
And I wouldn't say it's even as good as the original Christopher Reeve Superman, which I decided to go back and rewatch. Because there's certain things in that scene that just sort of exemplify who Superman is that they weren't necessarily in this movie. But I kind of feel that we got he's growing into being Superman story rather than, like, in the Superman movie, and this is something I didn't remember until rewatching it, he literally spends 12 years training with Jor-El before he goes out and be Superman. Like, he's almost ingrained on, this is who I'm going to be when I go out there and put on this suit and carry this torch. And this isn't the him who was sort of ingrained on, this is what you're going to symbolize when you go out and put on this. He was kind of forced to put on the outfit in some ways because of Zod's timely intervention and that kind of stuff. So it's a different part in his sort of superhero career. And that's where I kind of feel like I don't think you need to bring out the Joker in the first movie or Lex Luthor in the first movie, or like, I like having somewhere to build towards. And if you pop the most recognizable person in the first movie, it does sort of box you into that corner of how do you up it for the next one. Like, I'm hoping we get Lex Luthor in the next movie. And if you get Lex Luthor, you have to get Kryptonite in there. You have to get, like, there's a lot of room to grow in this movie. And that's why I think it was a good start to sort of a cinematic DC universe, because it also sets the stage for people being willing to accept additional heroes at this point. So,
all right. I'll go now. I was yelling at Bryce all weekend, or all week, basically.
On Twitter.
Or Twitter. Hashtag Iron Man 3 was not better. I'm definitely more on board with Charlie here. In fact, when the reviews started coming in and all this stuff started coming, all these bad reviews and negative reviews, and people were telling me they weren't like it, I'm like, what fucking movie did they watch? Because holy crap, this movie was literally awesome. like you feel godlike. This movie was just awe-inspiring. This movie was so... it was on levels that I was just not prepared for. It is not perfect. There are a few problems with the movie. I've now seen it twice. I mean, it is not Dark Knight. I think Dark Knight is a very, very high bar to hit at this point. It when you go back and look at the Superman the motion picture, and I love Superman 2, and even the first Tim Burton Batman, those are kind of set in a different time. I'm kind of looking like Spider-Man to current, because that's sort of like the more modern style of movies. Dark Knight to me kind of sits in that number one position. I probably had Avengers as number 2 after that, and Superman to me, or Man of Steel, I'm sorry, to me, I think it sits with number 2 with Avengers, but for a very different reason. Avengers was a fun movie. I'm not going to lie. Man of Steel was maybe not the most fun movie of all time. There was definitely some darker stuff, and the fun of seeing the Avengers fight together, it was not quite the same when you see Superman and Zod fight at the end. It's a very different feel. It's a very darker feel. But to me, it hit another point that I like. I like them both for very different reasons, and they both worked for me for very different reasons. I think there are a couple problems with the movie, which every movie is going to have a couple problems, but this is, to me, is as good as the start to the DC cinematic universe. That, like Charlie said, like this is what we're going to get. I mean, I don't see how this doesn't propel. Zod destroying half of Metropolis could be the origin point of all these heroes to come out of the closet. This is a reason for it. So to me, and to form the Justice League, because hey, if Zod comes back or this sort of thing happens, we could have saved more lives if there was a bunch of us. Me and Brock got in quite a bit over the last couple of days about the flashbacks and the pacing of the flashbacks. And I know, Omar, you and Bryson really like it. To me, I thought the flashbacks worked. You kind of had like a big action or a more action-y scene followed by a slower flashback. The flashbacks relate to the scene, he saves the guys from the oil rig, falls in the water, has that whole flashback about him first getting his powers and sort of having this like, oh, you got to swim, you're on an island, you got to kind of center your mind, and he's trying to focus as he comes back, to gain consciousness. I've heard multiple people complain about the way when flashback then current, then flashback to current, and to me that doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I know a few people have had issues with that, but to me, that sort of like how Batman Begins was. It had a similar feel to that, where it kind of goes back and forth. I don't think we need a full-blown origin from
what the.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like 900.
It's like 2,000.
Yeah, like 900 people have come. Is today Wednesday, and I just don't know it?
No, it's like everyone saw Superman over the weekend and now want to buy Superman comics.
Maybe,
Man of Steel,
which are far better than
Man of Steel.
Man of they saw which.
The S stands for hope.
Yes, it does. That's another part.
Fucking gay.
Some funny lines.
No homo.
Some funny lines. Oh, and who the hell figured a week ago that you would want a solo Jor-El movie? How awesome is Jor-El?
Jor-El was fucking incredible.
Right. Everyone liked Jor-El. Okay.
Jor-El was fucking great.
Yeah.
Jor-El was awesome. I loved him fucking swinging from rope to rope on his fucking cool ass little fucking. What's that other movie? What's that movie, Daniel? Avatar, those Avatar beasts. I love him flying around. I want him to have the big one go, because like him jumping around the small one, that just didn't make me feel too machismo. Like he should have the one that he can tune with.
No interrupting.
Yeah, I'm almost done.
I agree with you.
I'm almost
fucking
done.
amazing, but
he's inspiring me to talk.
I'm almost
put
done.
a moratorium on interrupting, and now we've both done it.
I'm almost done. So, I love this movie. To me, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I just sat there with my mouth just wide open the last half of the podcast, just blown away by the amount of just the action and the fight scenes and the special effects. But the first half of the movie was the humanity and the learning and doing the origins in a different way and really trying to bring something new to this, do this in a bit of a different direction. It doesn't have to be the same. I disagree with a lot of you guys that you can't like a movie that doesn't have things in it like this. And Bryce, you are correct. I do like, one of the things I like about it the most is that it's not another Superman clone. It's not Lex Luthor and Kryptonite. That's not why I like it, but I like that. I don't like the movie because it doesn't have that stuff. I like just the overall fact that they went in a new direction. I mean, Iron Man 3 is a perfect example. We've had 3 movies, and people have complained about this, with 3 movies with 3 kind of like industrialist, right? I mean, it's kind of the same thing over and over again. Without no Lex Luthor, no Kryptonite, no Kneel before Zod, no Otis, no fucking poses from the cover every 5 seconds. No, and Brock's going to question this. No constant Christ references. I'll give you half a one. This really tried to do something different, and I think it really succeeded. So, but. You've yelled at me all week, Bryce. You want to say something? I know you do.
Let the rumble begin?
Yeah. We've talked about this long. Ding! We've gone long enough. So,
well, Charlie had said something about the not wanting, like, delaying getting him in the suit and all that stuff. Well, why the heck do we have Smallville for 10 seasons?
That's totally different.
But hold on. That's developing character. Like
TV shows and movies are totally different. You can't. No, there's no comparison.
No. Everyone thinks that Superman is this character, we have to get him here. But we always forget that there's...
This is where we lose.
Yeah, well, no, this is where we lose, because, he's just going to say, I'm right, you're wrong, so...
No, you can't have 10 seasons in a movie. Like, we all know...
I know you can't have 10 seasons in a movie. I'm saying there's more than just Superman that we need to get to, right?
Yeah, but
we have to get Clark. We have to get Kal-El. We have to get...
Why?
But if you're going to have Jor-El and do the Krypton stuff, then you have to have some semblance of Kal-El.
We did. Multiple flashbacks, and then before he puts the suit on.
Yeah, but it doesn't work.
Well, it worked perfectly.
For you, it did.
Okay.
The character in this movie was a singular character up until the end. He didn't have a secret identity. Wasn't pretending to put on any kind of.
And I did love that too. I love no Clark Kent with the glasses prior to the end of the movie. I really like that.
As far as I'm concerned, that again kind of builds into where you go with the next movie.
Now we have Clark Kent. Now we have the relationship. Now you can bring in Luthor. Now you can bring in Kryptonite.
Now we're actually going to have a good Superman movie.
That's exactly what Kelly said. So what I didn't get to say as much during my thing, because I got sidetracked by my own rant, was Kelly's opinion. Kelly's my wife, sorry.
She's awesome, by the way. It's great meeting her.
Oh, yeah, she was very happy to meet you. Can't wait to meet Lori.
Yeah, of course.
And so she was so not flustered at the end, but she was just fucking perplexed. She was like Clark Kent is the Superman that I know, and she's not as plugged in as all. So I don't know if comic book movies, comic book lovers floated this whole movie to these numbers, but
there's not that many of us
going with their wives doubles that. I don't know. But she doesn't know. She doesn't know any of this stuff. She doesn't know New Krypton. She doesn't know the Zod story. She said, like, wait. Superman kills people? I thought the Superman didn't kill people. Hold on. Hey, moratorium on interrupting.
I have a huge comment about that, but go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Oh, is it my turn?
Go right ahead.
So she's like, Superman, like what? And I know that he does because I had to ask as well because I didn't know. Charlie and I believe Toby corrected me, or maybe it was Brock that said he has.
It was Charlie.
Was it Gage?
Or maybe it was Gage. Whatever. So Superman does kill Zod. Actually, okay, Bryce. So I was okay. I did not know that. I'm face palming in the middle of the movie because he's laser beaming down these humans, and Superman doesn't want to kill him. And it's like, fucking humans, duck or move to the fucking left along the wall.
It is this fucking fireball coming out of his eye.
Superman, fly up.
Okay, I have to
fall backwards.
There was so much stupidity about that scene. I was like, "Are you kidding?"
Me and Charlie.
This is I bet he's going to kill him. I bet he's going to. Oh, yeah.
He snaps his neck and then he screams again.
Me and Charlie are going to fucking choke you both out because look. Okay, first of all, Superman.
I was not done, but go ahead.
Superman, like Batman, has killed many, many, many times. He's not going around fucking Maxwell lording people left and right and snapping their necks on a daily basis, right? This is something that under extreme circumstances or sometimes by accident happens. This golden rule that these characters have not killed has always been bullshit. This idea of Superman that people have built up in their heads has never actually existed in any form. Superman has killed Zod in every appearance of Zod of the story. He kills him. John Byrne killed him with kryptonite. What do they call it? Not when you do it on a moment. When he premeditated. He premeditated killed Zod and the rest of the Kryptonians in Superman. He kills him in Superman 2. He kills all three of them, Zod, Ursa, and Non. They take off their powers and they fucking drop them into the middle of the fucking Arctic Ocean. They're dead, right? Like people, I don't know if people don't realize that, but he kills them in those movies.
Okay,
thank you, Ryan. No, now we know, but the movie still sucked.
Hold on, and in this but then I have a really big argument about this but in this situation,
this whole argument is from Kelly's point of view, by the way.
Okay, that's fine, but it's not just hers. No, I've heard this from so many people. This idea that the Superman has been this way is a character that has shit like Truth, Justice, and the American Way. That's something that was in one movie once. Like this doesn't exist in the comic books. This is not these events and these things. They incorporated a bit of it.
Truth, Justice, and the American Way, like all of that shit has been. It's like almost in every front page of fucking Superman and Batman.
Yeah,
Superman is Truth, Justice, and the American Way, and then Batman is the Dark Crusader. Da da da. So that's always been there.
Exactly.
That came from Superman the motion picture.
It doesn't matter where that's because from. It doesn't matter because you have all of these single lines of examples of why he's killed people before. You know that. We should know that even if we don't. But people like Kelly don't know that. That's not how they market it. They market it like Superman is this different guy. And look, this isn't my biggest problem with the film, so I don't want to even spend that much time on it. But I'm saying that Kelly came out of the film and she's like,
no, that point,
whoa, he kills people, and it's like, well, no Kelly,
he doesn't.
Actually, in Zod number 2,
Superman does not kill people under extreme circumstances, and in this point where Zod says, "I will not stop until one of us is dead." gave he tried to get him in the Phantom Zone. He was the only one that didn't get in the Phantom Zone. He was to the point where he's like, look, you have to kill me. I am a man without a world. I have nothing to live for. I'm going to kill until I am dead. This is what Zod did in this movie, and he forced Superman to do this. And
while I will agree that there is, judging from that scene, as you said, flying up, there's potential ways to continue the fight, but that also results in more death when you're talking about.
But this is
hold on. If I am fighting Brock in the street, and you can't just say, "Oh, why don't you drag him 10 miles to a park out there?" Superman and Zod are on equal footing. The fact that he was even able to stop him in the first place, Zod may not be as physically strong because he hadn't been on Earth for as long, but he is a better fighter, better tactician, all this stuff. He couldn't just fly up.
Except that he wasn't. First of all,
yes,
why didn't he take him to like the Himalayas or whatever? I don't even want to bring up the
That's what I'm saying.
Million body count that probably ensued that they showed not a single dead body of.
Yeah, not one. Well, because we want to make it PG-13.
No, that's fair, and they wanted to do that. And I actually appreciate them making the movie allowable to more people, but it was like, you don't even address that literally buildings are falling over like dominoes. Like,
hold on.
Millions of people are dying.
Let me finish. Saying, why does he drag him to the Himalayas is like me saying, I'm fighting Brock here in the store, but instead of beating up the store, why don't I drag him to the park across the street? How am I physically supposed to drag him in the middle of a fight? They were fighting. He couldn't have done anything else. The fact that he had him in that moment, Zod basically is standing there going, if you don't kill me right now, he's like, I'm going to evaporate these people in front of you.
When the fight even starts, Zod pretty much says he's going to kill humanity in front of him.
For every one you save, we will kill 1,000,000, is what Feora says. Okay. And that's exactly...
He must have saved a lot of people, because fucking millions upon millions people died. Anyway, look, there was a lot of the movie when Superman was more powerful than
that one military guy.
But this is like Transformers. This is like Star Wars. It's cartoony violence that it's like G.I. Joe. You blow up the plane, and at the last second, they parachute away. We don't know who died. They could have escaped. When they showed him flying to the other part, and they showed him crashing in that building, people were just kind of there. But we didn't see people in those other areas. There was not that many people on the street.
Metropolis was miraculously evacuated in 2 minutes.
A lot of people ran very fast.
They were teleported out.
He puts his head in the sand, and he's like,
Derek Goyer even came out and said he wanted people to die in this movie to show that Superman
more people died in Independence Day than in this movie.
Yeah,
like
This is a fucking. We already talked about. It's more sci-fi. I mean, how many alien ships were going back and forth?
Oh, I love it. This is a science fiction superhero. This is Superman. This isn't fucking a real estate scam. This is science fiction with those fucking crazy brainiac tentacles coming out and fucking attacking him. And oh my god, when he's on like the Indian Ocean fighting that shit, giant spaceships, giant aliens. Yes, I love it. We want more of this stuff.
Yeah, but they need to recast. They need to bring back Aronofsky. And
recast?
Dude, Henry Cavill kicks some ass. Amy Adams kicks some ass.
Amy Adams is good. But you know what? She didn't have the FaceTime. Oh, wait a minute. Let's let her scream. Ah! Let's let her fucking go out of fucking space in a fucking little thing that's open and she doesn't fucking suffocate to death. Ah! Like every fucking shit. Like it was like I was sad because Amy Adams she's a good actress and she got no fucking screen time at all.
What are you talking about? She's in like the whole fucking movie.
Not really.
I didn't like her. That's a separate argument. How about the fact the one of the many fucking numerous plot holes that they had where randomly that chick was what's her name?
Feora?
The chick's name?
Feora. Dude, she was fucking hot though.
Oh, okay, Superman. We're gonna bring you up to Zod's ship. Okay, no problem. Oh, and by the way, we need to bring Lois Lane. And it's like, oh, you need to bring Lois Lane? Well, okay, we're not going to be okay with that. No, Lois Lane says, I'll go up to the alien ship.
Of course she's going to go up to the alien ship.
Why did she need to be taken up there?
Because they're trying
nothing to do with her.
No, that was the only way that he would have escaped because Kryptonian atmosphere.
No, they're trying to hold...
They had no reason. They did nothing with her. They put her in this little spare bedroom, and then Russell Crowe came in and saved the scene.
They're holding her captive against Superman. That's why they took her.
And they already made it. They already made it pretty clear that the Kryptonians were monitoring various communication channels and that kind of stuff by hijacking everything. And everybody on the fucking planet is talking about how Lois Lane knows who he is. She's like his one tie. Not to mention when he shows up on the military base, they pretty much exposed his weakness.
But there's no weakness. That's the thing. You're absolutely right. They exposed the relationship, but there's no weakness tied to it. There's none.
Yeah, I haven't even kissed this girl yet, man. Jeez.
But
And totally annoyed that
she's
like
the one
that they changed the
confident
whole
they
like
know-
Lois Lane knows who he is before he's Clark Kent. That was
totally fine.
I
that
love
was.
that.
I know you guys think it's
Totally fine.
And look, at the end of the day, I'm fine with it too. I was just sort of annoyed. It's just yet another thing that they just had to fucking do away with. We're just like, oh well, it was actually kind of cool the other way, but okay, that's fair. Whatever.
The way I look at that again goes back to what I was saying about when you talk about like what people see as a strength of the character and what people see as a weakness of the character, especially a strong character like Lois Lane. How many fucking times have we heard she was fooled by a pair of glasses for years?
Yeah.
This completely
Gets rid of that.
Yeah, it gets rid of that completely.
This fixes
It's part of the charm, though.
This
Heaven forbid you missed the thing that's right in front of your nose.
Man of Steel fixes a lot of the I would say issues people have with Superman. Yeah. This isn't, and I hate to, I think I said this on a previous episode. I hate to use the internet parlance here, but the general idea that Superman is a bit of a fagula, right? It's like
What?
The line "Superman is a fag" is a very constantly used line with people, especially a younger modern generation.
Really?
Yes, there are a lot of people that really hate Superman and think, "Oh, he's not Batman's a tough guy that's going to kick ass. Superman is dumb and stupid because he's this truth, justice, and America way hippie flag waving would never harm anyone type of person." And DC and Warner Brothers have to be aware of this. And you definitely get a bit of that in Superman Returns. To me, this really... He's not out there killing people and snapping people's necks left and right, but it does bring a bit of a more modern sensibility, a bit of a darkness, a bit different of a take on this character that's not, standing there in his trunks and his American flag costume. It is a different character for a different time, and I would hope that
It's not Superman, guys. It's Man of Steel.
It's Man of Steel. Stop
With
saying
hope
Superman.
on it.
but Dark Knight's
It's
the
Hope
same
Man.
way, right?
It's Hope Man.
But
Can we just start calling him Hope Man?
But really, Dark Knight is not
not
Batman, right? And Dark Knight takes so many of the things we know about Batman and puts it on its head and totally changes it around and does completely
Ryan,
different
you're
things with
reaching
it.
really far, bro. You're almost sounding desperate. Okay, you're my friend. I love you.
I'm not- no, I'm-
But dude, seriously, the movie sucked. Okay, as much of the things that you think that things are corrected, and I'll tell you, dude, the majority of Facebook updates and status updates I get from my friends, it's like, wow, I just lost 3 hours of my life. Wow, I just lost 3 hours of my life. Wow, I just lost 3 hours of my life. And you know what? These are not people that read comic books. And you know what? There's not very many of us out there that do, right? But there are many people out there to go watch and pay for a film and hope to be entertained, and many people thought the film sucked. And that's why they need to fucking... do something.
I'm not saying everybody liked this film, but making it sound like everybody hates this film is completely non-factual.
But you know what though? In this medium,
weekend, like a week of tweets from people all over the internet being like, "What the hell are people talking about? Man of Steel was great." On the Geekbox Facebook group, like most of the people that really like it on the forums.
Geekbox Facebook.
Yeah.
Limited
The same
audience.
I'm sure. I'm just saying. So everything. Omar's Friends is a limited audience. Of course,
very limited.
we're all taking this from stuff. I'm just saying it made a lot of money. People went to go see it. The consumer reviews were really good. The polls on comic book websites which have a very a fairly large database of people on there are fairly good. So like. I get the complaints people have with it. And if you don't like it because Superman kills someone, you know what? More power to you. Join Mark Waid out in angry ex-girlfriend land of the most bitter people on Earth.
I have a question. Did anyone read on statistics whether or not parents enjoyed the fact that they took their kids to a movie where they see Superman snap somebody's neck?
See, to me,
Have they ever been to any movie ever?
Well, no, I'm asking.
Brock, where have you come from? Brock, you're coming up with all these great questions.
Parents
and
can suck a
here's
dick.
the
Where is this?
problem.
Who is this guy sitting next
Here's
to
the
me?
problem with that statement. Some
incredible.
people took their kids to Kick-Ass because it has superheroes.
Right, and
They're
Watchmen,
going to
and
ignore
Watchmen.
the rating of the movie.
But
It's
that's the
their
thing
own
is-
fucking fault.
But that's the thing is,
I'm a parent.
I know,
I
so am
actually
I.
look at what I'm.
I know.
I don't take my kids to
Brock,
Kick-Ass.
PG-13. I know. It was PG-13, right?
Brock, there was a movie that I saw a little while ago where a guy gets horribly cut in half, right? And then literally you see billions of people die. It's called Star Wars. Very much a kid's movie. Just because someone gets their neck snapped doesn't mean it's an adult movie. And you don't see like this graphic neck twist.
I have a question.
He starts to twist and the camera pans
Is Luke Skywalker a superhero?
Yeah, he basically is. Yeah, absolutely.
Is he a superhero?
I would
to an extent.
To an extent,
he's
absolutely.
Not Superman.
Okay. I would say he's
Well,
on the level.
There is the quote unquote.
He's a very well known character.
There is the general sort of perception of this is Superman, therefore it may be safe. But that's also why they took the direct to videos and started doing PG-13, because that wasn't necessarily the people who were going to.
If Superman was fucking melting faces through this whole movie and people exploding and shit like that, then yeah, I'd agree with you. We didn't see that. It's very cartoony, safe violence in this movie.
Neck snapping is...
I don't think cartoony. I don't think the images of 9/11 is cartoony at all.
Okay, fuck off.
Are you serious? Are you serious, dude? They fucking took like so many different things, like all the other films.
So sick of that.
So stop trolling it. Stop trolling the internet then, and you don't have to fucking see it. But the fact that every time they show New York, Metropolis or whatever, and every fucking big film they show people running away from dust, and they do it screen capture.
I can't believe when Independence Day blew up buildings 10 years before 9/11, I can't believe they were referencing 9/11. How offensive. How offensive.
That's your words, not mine.
How offensive. I can't believe in like the Great Inferno when they were burning down a big giant building, they didn't realize 9/11 was going to happen. Fuck that. That is such bullshit. I'm so sick of that.
So stop reading the internet then.
Ryan, I'm going to give you one suggestion.
Go, bro.
I'm going to give you one suggestion. Never go to New York and talk, because you're just going to get your ass beat.
Yeah, that will happen.
Every single instance of something violent happening in a city is not a direct reference to 9/11.
When they match it up directly, and they show fucking pictures.
A guy flew a plane into two buildings. I don't remember that in this movie. I remember a group of I remember
machine, though.
I remember a group of people trying to get a Phantom Zone projector working and they flew a plane into another plane. They flew a plane into an alien spaceship in order to suck people up into it.
I love that. I love that one of the animation guys from fucking Spider-Man 2, the original Spider-Man 2, had his fucking Doc Ock arms make an appearance in the end of the film. That was kind of cool.
I loved it.
I like that. Oh yeah, ooh, get him, Doc Ock arms. It's Superman. Woo!
Brainiac arms.
I just want to say this about the whole 9/11 thing. While I can understand that some people who are actually there could have issues with those scenes, I think it's fucking ridiculous for us to them. I understand why they have issue with those scenes, but citywide destruction is going to happen in movies.
You have to ban every war movie because it's going to have a reference to World War II in some fashion, and we can't show it ever because, God forbid, war. Like, you can't.
There's always going to be people who are going to have issues watching certain scenes in movies because it brings back painful memories.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that you can't destroy a city in a movie. It doesn't mean you can't have massive buildings falling over.
Was Transformers 3
ridiculous.
Was Transformers 3 an homage to 9/11?
Hey Ryan, quick poll: who saw Transformers 3?
Me, a lot of people, millions and millions and millions of people.
I didn't.
Apparently,
it was a good movie.
People here did, and I was wrong. I haven't seen it.
It was like the highest grossing of all three movies.
I didn't even bother seeing. Can we talk about something hilarious for a second?
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when Perry White gets his band of little newspaper reporters that didn't include Jimmy Olsen out on the ground?
You mean Jenny Olsen?
Oh, what the fuck out was that her?
Yeah. It was Jenny Olsen?
They don't name her last name.
That fucking hilarious, adorable scene when the fucking building is falling over and, and they're
I'm
running.
Stay with you.
They're running away from the building as it's falling instead of running to the left or the right.
Fact check. They run straight, and when they get to the first turn, they take a left, and they go down the street.
No. You didn't watch the movie twice. You have 3 hours of your life that you got to enjoy.
Right.
When I saw this movie the second time, I almost wasn't enjoying it because I was having to fact check the fucking movie the whole time for the shit you guys have been bitching about for a week and a half.
Hold on. I want to check. Why does cars and stuff go up with the gravity thing, but people don't?
Plenty of people do.
Did.
But why didn't Perry and them do it?
The gravity field had a very defined outer
radius.
Had a very defined outer radius, and it was getting closer and closer.
All right, so maybe I need to waste another 3 hours of my life and watch this. But
now, if you want to say Prometheus, I'm going to agree with you because that's exactly what happens. But that's not what happens.
In what?
And
Prometheus. No, you know what? Prometheus.
There's a very
that is exactly what I told Gage when we walked out of the film. I'm like, this is the way I feel when I walked out of Prometheus. I wanted it to be so much better.
Exactly.
It just wasn't.
That's
it's just
my,
like,
that's
you know
my
what I
thing.
mean?
At the end of the day, I
and
wanted
this
this movie
is
to be
again,
good
and this
so
is coming
badly.
from like a comic book reader, a fan of the genre. But I told Charlie this. You know, I go to I usually go to a lot of film festivals. I watch about 50 films a year. So watching films is something that's really big for me, and I can't help but appreciate my own time when I sit in front of, especially in the theater, regardless of it being comp tickets. It's still my time.
No, exactly. And that's why I will not see this a second time, even though I wanted it to be good. You know that they have the Justice League fucking movie slated for when Avengers 2 comes out in 2 years?
They have So they've already they've
the
already
fucking balls.
They're
This
fast
was
tracking
the
Man of
shittiest-
Steel. They're fast tracking
I'm sorry,
Man of
I was
Steel.
done. Go ahead.
That's okay. They're fast tracking Man of Steel for next year. You believe that? Like they want this
There's
out
no way.
in
Is that
18
real?
months.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, you know why? Because they're just going to go destroy Keystone City, which is just going to be a crater.
Well,
so it'll be
actually,
really easy to do.
you know, it was funny because when I was watching the movie, I thought of something that if they changed it, I know Omar would have liked it a lot more. And actually, if Zod turned out to be a homeless actor, I think he would have liked it a lot more. So that was high on like
rim shot.
high on like you know.
Homeless actor?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I
Sorry.
think that was an Iron Man.
It's an Iron Man
3
3 slam. Yeah.
Iron Man 3
yeah.
slam.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The joke went over my head. I'm sorry. I'm not that smart, guys.
Sorry, it's okay.
Well, that was a pretty weak joke. Hey, so
Well, see, because the budget's going to be so low budget for the next film because it's just Lex Luthor. It's not actually going to be a sci-fi movie, so
Got it.
it's not going to be as much.
I do have a couple things.
It's
will say
ridiculous
this.
that they're going to try to shoehorn Justice League into the same year as Avengers 2, which means that while Marvel had, what was it, I think 4 years to ramp up their movie studio movies to get ready for Avengers, and they had all these little Easter eggs and special things to sort of fucking get
I
you
don't
warmed
disagree.
up to it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't disagree.
LexCorp.
I
Ooh.
don't
Wayne Enterprises.
honestly
Ooh,
believe
Satellite.
Justice League is going to come out then.
It's not
I
gonna
don't believe
happen.
that at all.
I would love to
I
see it
believe
happen
that's-
soon. But you know what? They need to get off their ass and do something. And if it means fast tracking 3 or 4 movies in a couple of years,
So,
good.
Ryan,
Catch up, DC. You
right,
should.
this is for
God,
you. This is
that's so-
DC's Marvel Studios' first film, Iron Man. Like this is DC Studios.
This is their
And you thought
starting
this was
point.
so you, Charlie and Ryan thought that this movie was better than Iron Man 1. Is that correct?
No, I didn't say it was better than
Okay.
Iron Man 1, but I said it was a good
I didn't say
starting
you
point.
did. I'm
No,
asking.
Ryan
Wait,
thinks it.
Ryan's
I'm asking.
thinking.
I know that Ryan said that, but I'm asking.
I would put it like Iron Man was fun, like Avengers was fun. This is sort of a different feel. But
If
I
it
would
was
say,
no, this is why. This is why, and I'm not interrupting because I think we get what Ryan's saying. If it was Morrissey instead of AC/DC, that was a soundtrack, you'd love the fuck out of the film.
What the hell?
Fuck in the film, like, oh, let me fuck your face. Fuck that. I wish we had this on video.
I like AC/DC. No. To me, Iron Man is probably the second best of the Marvel movies, with Avengers being one. But Man of Steel, I would put on level with Avengers. So yes, I guess I do think Man of Steel is better than Iron Man 1. So there you go.
Wow, dude.
I think
It's a very different movie, though. It's
like,
a very
you know,
different feel.
Ryan.
But it's like comparing. Hold on, it's like comparing Dark Knight and Iron Man,
Yeah.
right? Because those are on such.
Yeah.
They hit such different.
They're both great, but from different
Sure.
universes.
But they hit such different emotions, and they go for such different things. I think you could compare the Marvel movies pretty much across the board because they all have a very similar setup, very similar feel.
Okay.
The DC movies to me go in a few different directions, and that's not a slam against Marvel. That's
A few different
Genius.
directions. You mean the 3 Batman movies that were all in the same direction, and the shitty Superman movie that
well,
just came out? called
Batman
Man
goes
of
in one
Steel?
direction, Green Lantern went in one direction,
Oh,
Superman went in
sorry
a
about Green
direction.
Lantern.
No, Green Lantern went in multiple directions. It was just back and forth from Oa to Earth.
They
and
all
Oa to
felt
Earth.
different, but again, they are both viable ways of doing.
Ryan,
this.
remember that feeling you had 3 years ago when we were talking about Green Lantern film, and you and
Yeah.
I were like defending how good it was. Charlie was there too, obviously, because he's such a hardcore Green Lantern fan, one of the biggest ones I know. Yeah. And you know, you guys are a big part of making me such a big Green Lantern fan. I was like, I watched the film and I thought it was like in my mind, I was like, oh, I see Green Lantern on the big screen, and it's like, oh yeah, Blake Lively, oh yeah. But she didn't. There's no titties. There's no titty shots. Damn. But it's like the same feeling you're gonna have when you're defending it. You're gonna feel the way you're gonna backtrack in the next 2 months, bro. I could feel it.
I've already said it is not perfect. Green Lantern, I never said was perfect. I may have trolled and made fun of.
May have trolled.
I may have made
It's
made fun of
very
Brock quite a bit.
Easy to get into defense mode by people calling Green Lantern the worst movie ever.
I never said that.
No,
People
I'm just
have.
saying,
I bought the film. I fucking have it in my DVD
I just say
collection,
that you
Blu-ray
needed
even.
the ring, the brown ring.
Fuck, I wish I didn't buy it now. I wish I bought it now instead of before. Fuck.
But
Get a
like
discount.
to me, there's a difference between going into defense mode over people calling Green Lantern the worst movie ever, which, yes, you get a lot of just jumping on the bandwagon.
It has to be a 1 or a 10. That's the problem with people. And I'm going into Superman saying it's an 8.5 or a 9. I'm not saying it's a 10.
Holy shit, dude!
But I'm not saying
8.5 or a 9.
But I'm not
unreal good
But I'm
for that
not
movie.
saying it's a 10.
Just
That's the
so
thing.
you guys know, that's a B. Right, it's an A minus B. He's changing his,
And that's
grade.
what I said. I said Batman. Dark Knight is an A. This is like an A minus. With Avengers,
Dark Knight and
there are a
That's a high
couple.
rating.
There are
That's cool.
a couple problems I have with it.
An
There-
A minus is. I would love to have been taught in university at any fucking class that you taught. You give Man of Steel a fucking A minus.
Dude, you'd be my favorite professor ever.
I would take all of your fucking classes, even if I
I'm
had
there.
to sit through Man of Steel over and over again.
Yeah.
Look, I didn't fucking. I didn't hate it. It wasn't a fucking terrible movie, in my opinion.
You liked it better than these guys.
I did like it better than them, but barely. I just think that it was a not good movie.
There was no fucking like. You guys are defending Henry Cavill for what? The role that he played in Immortals. Like I watched that film.
No, that
I was
wasn't him, was it?
Yeah, I was excited to fucking see that because it's like, oh, the new Superman. I want to see what he's all about.
Wait.
And he's just like walking around and just like being a fucking robot.
Let's do
Like
this. Henry Cavill, awesome. Zod, dude, fucking Zod's the best. Dude,
Zod is cool.
Zod
is
was great.
cool.
You know who's
Zod
even better
was
than
great.
Zod and everybody else?
Fucking
Russell Crowe.
Maximus.
Russell Crowe
Yeah.
was awesome.
Russell Crowe was fucking awesome.
Jor-El was
the effects were
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
By the way, another thing that I haven't brought up yet, they didn't need to spend fucking 20 minutes on Krypton.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
They needed to spend 2 hours in
I loved
Krypton.
it. I want a
fucking-
Jor-El movie.
It was fucking. Hey, so do I. It was a fucking beautiful. The sci-fi was fucking amazing. The action was amazing. Russell Crowe's the best actor in the movie.
Oh, dude, no, wait. Also, that wife, that chick was fucking hot too. I totally wanted to F her mouth.
F her mouth.
Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
There was a Jesus Christ reference in it.
I mean, I just think that they could have taken it from 20 minutes down to 10 in Krypton.
Laura
and given
Vanor?
us, given
That's
us
right,
the
that's
fucking
her name.
rocket ship in the field scene, and given us 10 more minutes with Ma and Pa
Well,
Kent.
do you think that
because
they-
that would
do you
have? I
think
know
that-
that you guys don't think. Hey, all of us that like read comics all the time like know that story. By the way, Kelly and her fucking
Well-
ilk that go with us out of pity to see these movies, they don't know this
But
story.
if you're watching, you're talking about when he kills Zod.
Kelly was like,
When you
"Who the
watch that
fuck
scene-
is this fucking fisherman on the fucking shipping oil raft?" And she's like, "Love it!" All of a sudden, this barefoot fucking hobo is holding up this thing. Where did this come from? Oh, that's Henry Cavill. I saw him in the Tudors. Oh, that's Superman. Okay,
Yeah. And there you go. You learn.
You couldn't
while
have
you
fucking
go through the
taken
movie.
5 or 10 minutes to work on that a little
That's
bit.
the whole point of it, though. You're going through, and it's like you're being shown who this is a guy. He doesn't know his life. He doesn't know what he wants to do. Oh, and I got to get back to this trailer for what you said about. I have to defend this scene because I heard so much shit about this. The whole scene with Pa Kent when he's like, "Oh, maybe you should have killed those kids." What a fucking gross misinterpretation of that scene from everyone that hates that scene. And I'm not calling you out specifically. That scene to me is so powerful and so strong, and I am so mad how many people completely misread that scene. If you remember the scene, Clark had just saved the kids. What's his face? Pete Ross's parents, who I love fat Pete Ross too, by the way. He's great. He came to yell at him about,
Why's he gotta be fat?
I thought he was
I don't
black.
know. What the fuck? No, he's
I
not.
thought Perry White was white.
He's not a.
Oh, yeah, that's
he's
right.
not a
They did a
distract.
switcheroo.
Yeah. He's not.
We're not. No, that wasn't
Jimmy
616,
is now
bro.
a Jenny.
We're not in 616.
He's not at the Stride Gum Factory. Okay. That scene to me was not a father figure saying, "Yeah, you should have killed those kids."
No,
and I'm
you
not
didn't
saying
say he should have.
No.
But at the same time, the direct, like, I hate quoting when I can't give you the exact quote, but the line from Clark basically was, "What should I have done? Should I have let them die?"
right, and he said,
maybe.
Right. This
Because
was not a
at
maybe.
the same time, he didn't want to say yes, but there was a part of him that thought he should have.
No, that is not how that scene read. This is not.
Just so you guys know, we're going into the minds of fictional characters
Yeah.
on a screen.
Yeah, something that's very
Something
easy.
that we don't know
Dude,
what the fuck they're
you
thinking.
don't have a
Something
fucking
that's-
quorum
something
on
that's-
your own fucking podcast table.
Something that's-
How are you holding this interpretation up to your interpretation being the correct one?
Because this is how.
Because I'm
this
Ryan
is-
Higgins
this
and I'm
is
always
the-
white.
Right. This is
Well,
the scene.
let him say his interpretation.
The
Can you
scene
acknowledge that
is.
you have at least 2 different opinions of this one scene already, and that, by the way, this is in defense of a scene that 90% of people on the fucking internet agree against you.
Okay, well, they're entitled to the wrong opinion. That
I'm Ryan
scene.
Higgins, I never won.
That scene was a father figure of a man god, right, of a child god, who was basically telling him, like, look, I am trying to raise you the best I can, but you were so beyond me that you have to come to your own decision. Should you kill this? Should you have let them die? Should you have not? Maybe. He wasn't saying kill him. He wasn't saying save him. He was saying it's not my choice. You have to find your own place. This is the entire history of Pa Kent, of Jonathan being
Just
like,
so you know, which
I
we
am
didn't
here.
get enough of.
Exactly.
I am here.
Like, that's why it doesn't work as well as it should have.
I am instilling my values to you, but you are so beyond us that it is up to you to choose which way you want to go. Him saying maybe was also him trying to protect his son from this world that is not ready for him, which is the same reason why
I agree with you there that he was trying to impart the fact that he was trying to make him understand that the world was not ready for.
And same when he lets
him around.
When he lets himself die, it's the same thing.
And
whether he's right or not,
and all that was a great scene. That was a super powerful scene.
Yeah.
But when you always talk about basically what certain characters mean to you and what they sort of exemplify, and the relationship between Ma and Pa and Clark, there always is sort of this sense of Pa sort of stands by the doing what's right. Not doing what's easy, but doing what's right.
Right.
And letting them die would have been easy.
Right.
Protect myself rather than protect the people. And that never really comes across to me as a Pa Kent kind of thing to do.
But in this, I think the character is coming from a very different point of view than maybe the more traditional version, because he is clearly saying, look, I am not in a position to tell you. I am instilling my values onto you, but you must come to your own conclusion as an adult. And
So
the whole
millions of people in Metropolis die.
And as the movies goes on, and he's able to start saving, and he's doing this.
How many people does he save in this movie?
He's doing this whole.
Besides Lois,
I would say about 6.2 billion people on Earth. So
no.
6.01 billion people.
No, we don't see who do we see him save?
Everyone on Earth that Zod didn't kill.
Okay, if you want specific.
All right, I think that, honestly, we're talking bullshit now.
Like
we've gone so far from judging the film.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are talking about being in the mind of Kevin Costner. Every fucking role that Kevin Costner is a passive-aggressive fucking daddy figure that's misconstrued. If you guys watch fucking the Hatfields and McCoys, like, I love that fucking series. Dude, he plays the same fucking character as he played in Dances with Wolves. And that's just it. He played the same fucking... When I ever see Kevin Costner on film, I see him as that dead guy in that one, The Big Chill. Like, it's the same fucking guy.
But
Can we agree that Ryan and Charlie's little mini rant just now was more character development time than Kevin Costner got all movie?
But the thing is,
by the way,
the problem is these things are not something that you need to spend a whole movie on. They're something that you should be able to garner from a few lines. These are simple concepts.
Ryan, I agree with you. The film was so ambitious, it just couldn't handle itself. Like, sometimes when I'm in bed, it just feels so good. And I'm just done. I'm like, wow, like, done.
Okay. We'll go off for that.
Boy, Omar, you are really stretching that explicit tag.
I got a couple things here.
I want people to be entertained. I want people to be entertained.
Okay.
Talk about Man of Splooge.
Wow.
I remember to
clean
cut
that
all
up,
this.
bro.
I remember to cut all this out. That's why there's stains all over my fucking floor, because you guys.
It's mostly because of Sean.
I got a couple things here that we'll talk about real quick. I got a question here, or a comment from Jason here online that says, after seeing Man of Steel, Gail Simone tweeted and spoken in an interview that she would love to write a Feora comic book. What do you think? And man, I would love to see Gail Simone write a Feora comic
What
book.
Feora are we going to
That'd be
get? Are we going to
totally
get New 52 Feora? Are we going to get Man of Steel Feora? Which one are we going to get?
Charlie.
Charlie's checking
Bye,
out,
Charlie.
so Charlie, we'll see you.
Fiora is fucking awesome. I loved her.
later.
I wish she had more screen time,
Yeah,
too.
she was great. She was really, really great.
I really wish her and Zod would have been bumping nasty.
No, I think that,
Like
we
Super
didn't even
Sex?
need Zod.
We could
It should
see-
just been Fiora.
we could
Because
just
the
see
fight
Super
scenes
Sex.
between Fiora and fucking Kal-El, it was where it was at. Like, that scene was incredible with her and the giant dude.
When they were run.
Non or Namek, whatever they call
yeah,
him.
Namek, yeah. Which is weird, like Dragon Ball Z reference, possibly. I don't get that. That was
What is
bizarre.
it?
That's the planet that they come from. Dragon Ball Z. I have no idea if that's on purpose or not. But so
Do you know why fucking Ursa, and they're not called Ursa Non?
yeah,
that
well,
legal shit?
that was made up for the comic. Or for the movie, I mean.
Oh.
Yeah, Feora is a real character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's actually the right hand of Non.
Of Zod. Well, she's
Zod,
she's one of the characters. And although I totally didn't realize it because they never call him by name, that Kryptonian scientist guy is Jax who's a real comic character. They just don't actually name him in the movie. So
Yeah, he's a pretty good clicks, too.
there we go. All right, let's see. What do we got? Some questions here. Here's one for you guys. Here's a snarky one that you guys will like. This is from Clark on Twitter.
I like how we don't get to filter any of the questions.
He says, "Is Lex Luthor default hero of the Man of Steel sequel following Superman's reckless attitude and destruction?"
Yeah.
So does the sequel Lex Luthor props himself up as look at all this destruction this alien brought to Metropolis. I will save you all, being the human.
Yes.
By the way, here's what I actually think is that there's no way Warner Brothers will be able to cohesively tie all of their movies as well as Marvel Studios did. So
Or Dark Knight.
I think that they will pale in comparison in terms of being able to recall previous movies. Iron Man 3, I think, did a great job of sort of referencing New York as the Avengers movie. And so you if you saw it, you knew about it. And if you hadn't seen Avengers for any reason, you were watching Iron Man 3, maybe you didn't or need to realize, and you just sort of assumed that New York was some event in his life. I don't have faith in Warner Brothers due to their track record that they'll be able to cohesively pull so much. I guess I'm lacking for finding the word right now, but they won't be able to sort of carry on the storyline, even in that faint vein, going on to subsequent films.
Wasn't it interesting how when we were sitting back and watching the credits and just listening to what people were saying, everyone's all ooh. Let's wait till the end of the credits. Are there going to be a sequence or whatever? I'm like, no, this is not a Marvel film.
Yeah. like over half the movie theater stayed in their seats hoping that it was a Marvel film. Like they just wanted to see something after the credits, and at the end, everybody in the theater except for Ryan Higgins and his girlfriend were like, "Oh."
Well, the thing is
everyone went, "Oh," when there was nothing in there.
The thing is, if you're looking at,
I said everybody but you.
I said that too. I was so wanted there to be something.
I was 2 people off.
I think you've hit the nail on the head a little bit with this. Well, where are they going to go next? Well, Lex Luthor would be the next way to go. But the thing is
I hope they don't. I hope it's Brainiac. I hope it's someone else. I hope it's not Lex Luthor.
That's the thing is if they go to Brainiac and they go even more science fiction,
love it.
You're going to love it, but they might lose their audience.
They already lost a lot of the audience, but sci-fi genre is where Superman needs to go because he's a sci-fi character.
You need to build to it. But that's what the first franchise never did.
He's fucking A-list, and he needs to be treated as a C-list or B-list film because he's not Batman. That's it. I mean, if Wonder Woman, I think a Wonder Woman film done in the right way would be bigger than Superman.
No, there's no way.
No, I love you, but I disagree.
Superman's going to sell because it's Superman. Whether it's good or not, it's going to sell.
Fail. It's the emblem.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the feminine movement, the fucking girls running shit, all that stuff, Beyonce in the house, telling them to put a ring on it. That shit will fucking sell, dude.
Wonder Woman, I mean? I think Wonder Woman would do a lot better than people think, but
it won't succeed in a male-run movie industry.
Yeah, it'll be.
Look, I would love to see a successful Wonder Woman movie. And by the way, I fucking am the most excited I am about this film is that it will lead to Superman 2 or Man of Steel 2 that Kelly will be able to understand, and that I'll be able to be like, oh yeah, Clark Kent, Kryptonite, okay. Things that I love about Superman. And by the way, by extension, a Justice League movie. I would love it if they had a fucking good Justice League movie.
Hold on.
I'm only upset that they made a fucking shitty Superman movie.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I can't agree that just
I am very excited that it made enough money to continue the legacy of this role. I think Henry Cavill did a great job and the effects were great.
I can't agree that there's confusion because look, you go into Iron Man. People don't know who Nick Fury is. He's never introduced until the very end. Avengers, same thing. Thanos. When we saw it opening night, one person in every group was like, "Holy shit, it's Thanos!" and everyone else is like, "Who the fuck is this?" Just because people may not know
Thanos, he was after the credits of.
I know, but I'm saying it's the same. It's the same sort of thing.
Nick Fury, which was after the credits.
Cosmic Cube. It's the same sort of thing. Just because people are like, "What the fuck is this?"
Stop
okay,
using
this is
examples of after the credits.
No, Cosmic Cube is during Captain America. Like there are all these things in these movies that are comic.
Freeze frame. It's really fast. It's like
the Cosmic Cube is the whole fucking point of Captain America.
He's forgetting Thor, which is where the original Cosmic Cube because that's the end of Thor.
Okay, but the cosmic cube's in all of Captain America.
This is the thing, though, right? Like, as comic readers and comic fans, like, fucking... I mean, all of us are plugged in on Wednesdays. Just because the film is shitty doesn't mean that we can't keep reading the books. Okay, come in and support your local comic shop. Come in. We have a lot of Man of Steel. I mean, Superman books. Come in. Superman Unleashed, Superman Unbound, whatever the fuck it's called. Django Unbound. Superman Black Man. He's not black. Oh, Unchained. I'm sorry. Superman Unchained. We have plenty. Come on in. We got all the variants.
No, we don't. But we have the main Jim Lee cover.
Dude, those are fucking sick, though. Some of them are dope. Like,
Yeah,
they actually spent a lot of time in making those cool ass covers with artists.
Okay.
I like it.
All right, next question.
That's it. I just gonna. That's it. Yeah. I mean, everything else is stuff we've already talked about. So, I think we've gone on long enough here anyway. So, divisive film. In fact, I mean, this is one of the rare films where it is rare to see a movie that is as split down the middle as this kind of.
That's what it is. You love it or hate it.
Yeah,
just like the Miami Heat. I hope they lose.
All right. And but if you like the movie or didn't like the movie, hit us up, let us know, because I'd love to read some reactions from people that did like it or what they didn't like, if they agreed or didn't agree with some of the stuff we said. So let me know. If you want,
right. If you don't do anything wrong, we'll just troll until you get something. So
no, I fairly retweeted the likes and dislike tweets I got all week. Bryce seems to not think so, but I honestly did.
Dude, you retweeted my dislike tweets to you
because he loves you so
and then
much.
Retweeted every positive review that you got.
I also got a couple negatives that I retweeted.
He got blocked by Mark Wade over the weekend.
I did get blocked by Mark.
Yeah,
I was following you all weekend, and I didn't see a single negative review retweeted by you.
It's a couple.
Okay, well, that must have been selective hearing by me.
It was you twice.
Yeah. Every time you tweeted how much you hated it. So, all right.
I was quiet on Twitter, and someone's like, I think I literally typed as my response to Man of Steel. Just
meh of Steel.
No,
Oh, that's pretty clever.
Man of Steel. Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to use that when I go home.
As an Easter egg to people that are still listening to us, can we talk about comic books?
No, we're done. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
Jupiter's Legacy.
Assad Ribic is fucking crushing it in Thor.
Dude, Assad Ribic is incredible. Anything he touches.
Jason Aaron's doing just as good a job, but the fucking
comic
combo,
books,
the fucking combo of those two, they're making this current story is so good.
Yeah, it's really good, except it's really not worth it to buy the hardcover.
I don't like this new story arc as much as I don't like this.
Not worth it to buy the hardcover.
I don't like this back half of the story as much as I like the front half of it.
Of Thor or this podcast?
Thor. The last two issues, something's felt off.
What's that, Millar?
The God Bomb? Yeah.
They were drinking too much ale.
Oh, they love ale, and I love them for it. In fact, that picked up my prescription of the book.
Or is it Jupiter's
You just
Legacy?
said prescription.
Not Jupiter's Legacy. What's that, Millar?
Yeah,
it's a movie.
require it.
It's coming out the second one soon.
Kick-Ass?
Yeah, Kick-Ass. I saw the trailer today. It fucking looks good, and the book was shitty. And I was telling this to Randy. I was like, "Damn, this fucking book sucked ass. I couldn't get past the second issue." But it actually looks like I'll watch it. Like, dude, Jim Carrey is all rated out.
Yeah, I'm sure it looks fun. I won't watch it. So I say Mark.
Why? Just because he kicked you off, bro? What if you? If you just go and formally apologize on his website and he'll accept you, bro?
No, I don't care
Why
about
don't you
that.
do that?
Just no interest in seeing Kick-Ass. I have no
interest in seeing. I've never seen the first one.
Yeah, I didn't see the first
The
one.
first one's good.
Like,
You guys are missing out.
I literally read.
Awesome.
I literally read most of the first Kick-Ass comics.
I read like the first issue and was nope.
That makes one.
Oh, that chick Emma Watson. She grew up. She was in the end.
Wait, Emma
this is
Watson?
The end. Emma Watson.
Isn't that Hermione?
Yeah.
The girl from
Yeah, she's in This Is the End.
Yeah, she was in. Oh, damn, she looked good. And then when she talks English accent, she like grows 10 years older. So I'm like, damn, dude, what? She looked good.
We
And 10
changed
years
from
pruder.
Kick-Ass
Are we talking
to-
about Hermione?
Okay. We're going to go ahead and wrap up, guys, so we can go do whatever you get.
Well, we have to remind people that there's only a week left.
Oh, yeah, next week we're going to do our All-Star Superman. Oh, good Superman Thoring. We're going to talk about All-Star Superman.
Yeah.
So go...
That's a good book.
Go read
that should have been a movie.
Go read that before next week. We'll talk about that on the podcast next week.
They could have
if you
also
go
done
to-
Death of Superman. That would have been a good movie, too.
Yeah.
If you go to my blog, there's a poll. Take the poll, vote whether or not you liked it,
All-Star
didn't like
Superman.
it, or you were indifferent.
Conspiratobrock.com.
Yeah, at conspiratobrock.com.
All right. This episode and all our other episodes is at comicspiracy.biz or geekbox.net. Go there. Or you can send us an email, thecomicspiracy@geekbox.net, or hit us up on the contact form. We're all on Twitter. Ryan Higgins, Ryan, Brock Sager, Comics in Decline, Bryce Larsen is Larsen Bryce, Toby XI is Toby, and Sending in Chaos is Charlie. Conspiratobrock.com, that's Brock's blog. comicsanddekind.com. That's Omar's blog. Go support those guys. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. That is our digital comic store.
Isn't the sale over for Superman?
I think so.
Yeah.
So if you picked up your copy of All-Star Superman for cheap, if not, they're still on there.
Wait, is All-Star Superman for
I
sale?
think that's it. Oh, yeah.
Well, on Comixology?
Yeah,
but the sale's over?
I don't know. It may still be going.
There was a sale over the weekend.
It may still be going.
Because we missed a week. We could have informed people.
Yeah.
Without Ryan, we could have informed people of this, but we had to miss a week.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're back.
I heard that the Zelda Symphony was fucking amazing.
It was fucking amazing.
I heard it from Ryan.
We're back, and now we're done. I'll see you guys next week.